Thank you, everyone. Okay. Marcel Asuti from Lagos, Olushola Ogunyemi from Warri, Olushola Ogunyemi from Warri. Thank you. Okay. Nikki from Abuja, Mercy from Lagos, Marcel Asuti from Lagos, Odi Jennifer from Port Harcourt. Thank you very much. Odili Jennifer from Port Harcourt, Nigeria. All right. Thank you, Nikki from Abuja, and so on and so forth. So let's get right into it. You can still keep sharing it. Let more and more people join us. We should be no less than 100 here at the end of the day. All right. So you have been around for a while, like I said last week. Life generally happens in cycles, and the Nigerian economy basically happens in cycles. Over the last 6 decades or so, it's been that same cycle repeating itself over and over again. And there's a research publication by ResearchGate that finds that the Nigerian economy just responds over the last 4 decades, as in fact 5 decades, has only just responded to the prices of crude oil. So the findings showed that business cycles in Nigeria essentially follow developments in the international crude oil prices, exhibiting positive correlation with oil price movement. So whenever there has been an improvement in oil prices, the fortunes of Nigeria improves. Whenever there has been a dipping of oil prices, the fortunes of Nigeria dips, broadly speaking. But even more important are the cycle of occurrences that happen after every major high or dip in the cruising regime. So basically, that has been the trajectory over the last couple of years or last yeah, the oil prices has been steadily on the high for some level of recovery in Nigeria. But Nigeria's woes is just beyond oil. For those who have studied the economy, that the challenges in the oil, they are multifaceted. The realities of 2024, for example, included, exchanging the dollar at 1,700. In time, it went to as high as 1,900. Inflation stood at around 34% as at the end of November. We have not seen the figures for December, but it's most likely going to be around 35%. Many people have only been 25, 30 years old. In that lifetime, I've seen inflation being this high. All right. Fuel prices was a liter of fuel was selling at 1,200. In some places, going as high as 1,600, 2,000 naira. These were the realities of Nigeria last year. At some point just before last year, crude oil production went to as low as 900,000, 1 million barrel day of production. And don't forget what I've said. It's a positive correlation to the Nigerian economy and the oil prices, right? So a few fundamental corrections in the economy. Please, I'm just being fast because of my time. I'm intending to take on 2 of our community members who have paid for Africa Revenue to spotlight their businesses. If the time permits, the time does not permit, I'm going to do that in our next session. So at any point in time, you can ask. But these are generally the challenges that, this was how Nigeria fared in in 2024. Many of us will remember that it was a year when many people could not feed themselves. In December, for example, all of us remember how 30 something children in Lagos, another 20 something in Abuja, in Anambra, another 15 children died because of the struggle for bread, which highlights the very terrible nature of the economy, right? I don't know whether you are following me. If you can still hear me, let me know in the comment box. Are you following me? All right, thank you very much. So these are the realities of the Nigerian economy 2024. And some of those realities are going to spill over to 2025. But I need you to understand a couple of fundamentals. Why am I doing this? I just want to give you a sense of understanding of the direction of the country, of your country, because many people are frankly very disinterested about anything called Nigeria. Sometimes to their own detriment. Sometimes at their own detriment. They don't even care. You know, they are telling them about the economy, you're telling them about politics. They say, who politics help? Who economy help? You know, you cannot afford to take that kind of stance if your intention is to grow in 2024. At least in the environment is doing on the, even if you don't understand it to such an extent where you can avoid any kind of negative and where the Nigerian economy is headed in 2025. I won't tell you where it is headed, but you can come to certain inferences yourself. Before now, Nigeria holds $6 billion to various airlines across the world. That amount by the CBN has been settled. $6 billion, so much so that many airlines stopped, flying into Nigeria. That $6 billion has been sorted. Before now, Nigerian Central Bank, because many people don't understand what really led to the inflation. They think that it is just because the naira depreciated. Yes, the naira depreciated, but what exactly even caused that naira depreciation? It was poor productivity in the economy. So, of course, crude oil prices have been relatively good in the last few years. But the problem of Nigeria is that production has been extremely low. Nigeria was not able to fulfill up to 40% of the quota that was allocated to it by OPEC. So you had production that was at level of 900,000, falling to as low as 700,000. And don't forget the correlation that I've showed you between Nigeria's fortune as a country and the oil prices. So what does it mean? If you are producing 40% less, even though the prices is good, it means you are losing 40% value. That has been the problem of Nigeria. And when you now look at it in the context of all of what we were owing, we have not even fully recovered from COVID and the impact of COVID. The Nigerian public service is very unproductive. When you put that together with the stealing, blatant stealing of Nigerian crude, when you put that together with the insecurity in the economy, when you put that together with the fact that we had a political class that were very, I'm sorry to say, asinine. They didn't want to think. That culminated in we had 8 years of lazy thinking. 8 years of lazy thinking. 8 years of of laying back rather than taking certain kind of decisions. So what did you had where the CBN wanted to bail, print money, print trillions of naira. As at the last countings, offered, because when you hear ways and means is borrowings by the Central Bank of Nigeria to the federal government. 40 trillion naira offered to the Central Bank of Nigeria by the CBN. Now, please understand that kind of borrowing is borrowing that is not backed by any kind of value. It is just printing of money. Wholesale printing of money. And if you remember, about 2 years ago, it was the governor of Edo State at that time, Obaseki, who made a cry and said, CBN, because it was, as an economist, a very, very senior economic analyst that we all respect. He had insider access and information, and he knew that an average of 6 trillion naira was being printed. So, the maths. All of us want to eat bread. The only loaf of bread that is available is just this loaf of bread. That's what is available. And we are 10 in the room. And all of us had, 500 naira, 100 naira. We're 10 in the room. We had 50 naira to buy this loaf of bread. 10 pieces.
This is my model to have been
said, okay,
I'm supporting it. If we turn it now to disorganized, somebody is talking now. Yeah, to go towards you.
Thank you very much. So you now say that, okay, the way for us to achieve this, so everybody can be satisfied. Let's print more money. I have to exit you, Mr. Ohipo. So we now say, okay, let's just get, instead of us have prints, and let's have 500. No increase. This is the real value. That what will only in this bread 10 pieces of, it will now begin to sell. Sell for 100 naira, correct? It will begin to sell for 100 naira. The reason is because all of us are now pursuing with more money. That's all. So look, secondly, most of that is going to have when I come back. That's what I'll be talking about. But before we go in that tangent, if you have any questions, hold them. Again, all of this conversation is really focused on you understanding the direction in which the economy is going and how you can position for it. When we come back, I'll tell you a little bit about Africa Revenue Summit. Secondly, we'll move into talking about the realities that we will expect in the economy in 2025. Don't go anywhere. If your executive team are not on this call, call them and let them join. You need some insights for 2025. I'll be back in a jiffy. Thank you. Don't be distracted by my headgear. Focus on my message. I want to invite you, if you are a CEO, to Africa Revenue Summit. You see, Africa Revenue Summit is the biggest convergence
of executives, directors of businesses, and CEOs. Other goal. My goal is to help 400 businesses achieve 400% growth. The vehicle is Africa Revenue Summit, which is going to focus in 2025 on leadership development, strategy formulation, and growth. 400% growth. It's holding in 2025 February, but it starts this year. So this year, we're going to be doing strategy design, helping you to design the right strategy that will enable the growth. And post affairs, you leverage the connections, but more importantly, we support you with execution. We support you in execution to deliver the growth that you seek. You want to understand how to specifically grow your business in that sector. SaaS and Tech Conference inside Africa Revenue Summit is for you. And then we have the B2B Growth Conference. And we have the Realty Growth Conference. If you are in real estate, Retail Africa is a sub-conference of Africa Revenue Summit, and it's going to be an explosion. The goal is clear. The vision is clear. It is to help you deliver 400% growth in 2025. Click the link below. Get the details right now.
Leadership, according to the training, is the ability for us to inspire others to learn more, to dream more, to do more, and be able to become more.
My key takeaways from this conference is simple. First of all, think about revenue growth. The next is how to enable your sales team, and finally, how to become a better leader and a greater leader for a future forward-thinking organization.
I learned that the leadership matters, the process matters, the strategy matters, how we even engage the whole organization really matters.
It's all about hacking revenue strategy. How can you take your revenue from point A to point B, right? And this is what it's all about.
All the segment of the training stood out for me. For example, the revenue growth models, the leadership models, understanding the thought process that will drive the revenue.
There was the initial hesitation, would I be able to get value for money? But I can assure you, being here in person, I found out firsthand that, I underpaid for what I got in this masterclass.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you very much to everyone who has been on this call. We're about 78 now. My desire would be that we should be 100 before we leave. So if you can still share that, share it. On the group, please drop the messages. I'd just like to take one person. Help us summarize what I have said in the last about 20 minutes. If you want to do that, you can just either raise your hand or mute yourself and speak a summary of what we have said for the last 20 minutes. And then we will go into what it means for you. No, we will talk about the fundamentals in 2025 before we come to what it means for you. All right. Anyone? Mr. Amzat Abiodun, you can off your video. Anyone, you can go ahead. What is the summary? Can you summarize in a few words what we have discussed so far?
What we have basically mentioned in this class so far are the factors that led to the increase in commodities in last year that affected the economy drastically, and the positive signals that is going to come up, or the positive signals that are likely going to happen that will affect 2025? And those signals, how are they going to affect our economy, and what are the opportunities we need to explore with those positive signals we'll be getting? Those are the brief things we.
Fantastic, Realtor Charles. And let me ask, thank you very much. I'll just pause there. Let me move on. So we've discussed how those things will impact us. So let's look at what will impact 2025. Before that, like has been said in the commercial, we're hosting Africa Revenue Summit, and again, the goal is to help you achieve 4 times 5. For those who have already been a part of this, we've been in fact they were going to be having a session on modeling growth. It's been an explosive session. Everyone who has come has testified to the fact that there were white spaces in their business that they did not see for growth, high potential growth in the businesses that they've not seen. And I'm very poised to help them, because that's my own goal, 2025, to help them to achieve their own goals of no less than 400%. There are many of them who came to those strategy sessions and from there decided that even the goals they were pursuing, for example, the gentleman who was here, Rich Taste, who does frozen chicken last week, said to us by himself, now they are doubling down on the figures from pursuing just percent growth, going all the way to 400%, doing about 5 billion naira either two, but intending to do 20 billion naira this year, and so on and so forth. I challenge you to have very big dreams in 2025. And if you have not registered, this is an opportunity to pay and register, because there is a 15% discount on this. Right. So, what will impact 2025 for you and for your business? What will define 2025 for you and for your business? What are the things that, have multiplier effects on 2025 for you and for your business? Number one is the Dangote refinery and the associated industrial complexes. Dangote has built a 650,000 barrel per day refinery, but more importantly is that it is not just about the Dangote refinery. It's about the industrial complexes that are springing up around the Dangote refinery. It has a fertilizer plant, a naphtha plant, has over 4-5 other industrial complexes within the refinery. This is going to have the most catalytic effect. A research, that was released, part of which I shared last week, that was released by a leading research organization in Nigeria, said that Dangote refinery was going to have the most catalytic impact on the real sectors. So the Dangote refinery and the associated industrial complexes are going to be transformative for the Nigerian economy, like it has been since last year. Even if you just consider the sheer fact that almost 10 trillion naira of fossil fuel imports are going to be substituted directly or indirectly. That's massive. So Dangote refinery, as it continues to go into full capacity utilization, will continue to have telling effect on the Nigerian economy. Number two is going to be the multiple refineries that are coming on stream. As if Dangote refinery was chasing NNPC. Immediately Dangote launched, NNPC began to work harder at their own refinery. As of today now, they're telling us that 2 of those refineries have come on stream, and the 3rd one is about to come on stream. That's good news. And if you're a Nigerian, like I will always say, don't be don't be averse to good news about Nigeria. So those are two refineries that have come on stream. Many more will come on stream. I'm aware that the Bua Group is developing a refinery that is about 200,000 barrels per day in capacity. I'm aware that there is another 50,000 barrels per day, modular refinery in Port Harcourt. Many such. At the end of this year, Nigeria will be a net exporter of not just finished petroleum products, but even associated products. For those who are chemists or industrial chemists and the likes, you will know the majority of industrial products are direct derivatives of crude. One of the reasons why Nigeria has not been able to have a lot of foreign exchanges that we do not produce a lot of things locally. We import a lot of things. To say it differently, we import a lot of things. Why do we import a lot of things? We import a lot of things. Don't forget that many things are even produced in Nigeria, but the raw materials for producing them, which is the heavy production level, we don't manufacture them in Nigeria. But with Dangote refinery coming on stream, when it enters into full capacity utilization, especially the associated industrial complexes, it will spur the development of entire industries. Number 3 is what? Can we say this together, everybody? Can we say number 3 together, everybody? 1, 2, 3, go.
Increased food production.
Increased food production.
Interesting. So the government is damn serious. This government is damn serious. I mean, I'm not a speaker for government, but I think that they didn't have an options anyway. So the government is damn serious about increasing crude production. That is very for the fact in the history of NNPC command center, a command and control center, where they can actually monitor every liter of fuel and how it moves across the entire value chain. That center was launched late last year for the first time in a very long while, we're told. So if you look at that, crude oil production is likely going to be sustained, and most likely government may not be able to get to the 3 million barrels per day production that they are targeting, but anything around 2.5, 2.7 is still good for the Nigerian economy. Banking reforms and consolidation is number 4. All right. Number 4 is banking reforms and consolidation. The Nigerian banking reforms and consolidation first happened about 2001, 2002, thereabouts. And during that time, all the way to 2003, during that time, there was a boom in the economy. Many jobs were created. I think we are at that cusp. Again, right now, we're likely going to be in that era where banks can expand their capacity. If a bank that had 50 billion naira for trading now expands their capacity to 300 billion naira, that is times 6. Some of these investments will come from abroad, right? Oil prices is currently at $75 per barrel. That's good for us. But again, we'll talk about the Trump economics in a couple of minutes, because that's going to impact on the chances of Nigerian businesses in 2025. Trump is very, very, determined to bring down the cost of fossil fuel. He believes that the world cannot do without fossil fuel, very much unlike Biden, and he has committed to making substantial investment in fossil fuel. So you will see that in response to Trump's presidency, many of the oil majors are going back to doing major projects, many of which they had abandoned hitherto. So number 5 is oil prices currently at 75 per barrel barrels per day, every infrastructure expenditure of around 49 trillion naira. The government is going to be spending 49 trillion naira. And almost about 50% of that is being budgeted for capital expenditure. About 5 major projects, 5 major highway infrastructure started in the year 2025. That is going to have a turning effect on the economy. All right. On real estate, statistical projects real estate value to reach about 2.6 trillion naira in 2025, up from about 2.1 trillion dollars. Those are some of, and this growth is going to be, spurred by ever increasing population of the Nigerian people. Right. Let me pause at this point and take 1 or 2 questions, if you have. Does anyone have any question for me at this point?
Yes, I have a question, sir.
All right, please go ahead.
So the last slide you talked about the real estate statistical projects that estimated the growth from 2.1 trillion to 2.6 trillion. This money, is it the generated revenue from real estate and it's pushed to the economy, or there's a sector of or there's a way the real estate is also affecting the economy, just like crude oil is affecting the economy? That's my
Okay,
question.
great question. Great question. So current total value of real estate is 21. So there's a lot for those who at the next sessions. But let me just, and $2.1 trillion is the total value industry right now. 2.1 trillion. But there is a deficit of close to 50%. So there's going to be an addition of, if you look at that growth, that's about 25% growth in real estate this year, going from 2.1 to 2.6 trillion naira. So what we're talking about here is actual creation of new real estate assets, trading, investment, buildings, development. All of that additional $500 billion will be added directly to the Nigerian real estate sector. So if you ask me, there's one place where you should play in 2025, it should be real estate.
Okay. Yes. So
directly or indirectly. So look at it. It took several years. Many people think, oh, real estate is saturated. Guess what? Because real estate is playing multiple. Real estate really is playing multiple, and that's one of the reasons why someone like me had my sight on it in the course of the last year. You see, many people think that real estate is coming to a point of saturation, but that's not correct from what the research has shown. In fact, if you read this research, unfortunately, I'm not going through everything. If you read this research, you will discover that many hitherto unoccupied complexes in the course of last year was filled. So ratio of vacancies decreased by as much as 20-something% last year. So malls that were unoccupied, houses that were unoccupied, many of them became more occupied last year, in spite of the fact that real estate grew. And one of the reasons is because real estate is the biggest way to retain your money, is the best way to retain your money in Nigeria today without it being eroded by inflationary pressures. When inflation is 33%, 34%, the meaning is that if you keep your money in the bank, 1 million naira, and you do not earn 1 naira on it, by the end of that year, if inflation is 34%, what just happened is that 1 million naira that you had at the beginning of January has just become 660,000 naira. That's the direct implication of inflation. But look at what is happening in real estate. Real estate value has jumped by 400% on the average in the last 2-3 years. of the last several decades, Nigeria's total real estate value is 1 trillion naira. But in the course of this year alone, it is going up by $500 million. Does that answer your question?
Yes, very well, very well.
Right. So let's move forward.
Please, I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Jembola. You are doing a very great job. My name is Olumide. You spoke about real estate. And for me, I believe real estate is a subject to construction industries. We all know that construction industry is the second largest industry in the world after e-commerce. My question is this. I have an example that I can cite. A friend of mine bought, take for instance.
Very short. I see several.
Okay.
You have just 1 minute.
Okay. A friend of mine bought a flat. When with the exchange rate, it was 7,000 USD. After let's say 4 years, a friend of mine too needed to buy another flat in the same estate. And we checked the dollar equivalent. It was less than 7,000 USD. Though the naira value has gone up. Let's say somebody bought a flat now for, let's say, 25 million. And now you are asked to come and buy the flat for 75 million naira. If you look at the exchange rate, the inflation. So for me, it has not really appreciated. Instead, depreciated, because if you check the dollar equivalent of that 75 million, when dollar was 1,700 naira, against when naira was around 600, 700 naira. For me, it doesn't make sense. Now, my question is this: what are the indices that you have in place that these are actually going to affect the economy in 2025? Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much. I'll be coming to that in the next couple of minutes. Yeah, you are correct to a certain extent, but again, and that's why you have to be very, very careful in whatever investment you're making. But on the whole, when you net off the inflationary pressures, I mean, inflation still is 30-something%. All in all, inflation still stood at 30-something. It has not crossed 40%. Now, by how much has real estate grown in the last 4 years? If go and check it, places that were selling at 30-40 million naira prior to now are now selling at 100-120 million naira. I'm saying just 3 years ago. All the Ogombo area, all the Lakwe area, go and check it. Many of them are selling at 80 million, 100 million naira. So what I'm saying, I mean, this is not a real estate class. Don't worry. We have a segment for real estate people at AFRES, where we can get into the details of all the indices. But I'm saying that even in spite of inflation is still not able to catch up with the growth rate of Nigerian real estate in the last couple of years. But where many people lost money is this. So, because you need to understand it, and I'll just make that point. Where they lost money is in the construction. Many people projected without calculating for inflation. So the assets themselves did not lose value. The land did not lose value, even against inflationary corrections. However, it lost value when you had sat down and you said, this project, what will finish it is 30 million naira, 40 million naira. And our own markup is going to be 10 million naira, it's 15 million naira. What now happened is that 40 million naira did not finish it. What eventually finished it was 60 million naira. Not because of the land, because the land appreciated. The issue now was the building materials. So that's what really happened. However, let's leave that one aside so that I can move forward. All right. So in terms of what will impact 2025, we're coming to it gradually, and that's part of what we're discussing already. We can take other questions at the end of the training. Right. So I don't know if that addressed your questions partly. Olabi Karim.
Yeah, I'm not the one that dropped the question. I was only going to quickly chip in something as a real estate professional. Dr. Jembola
Okay, Mr. Olabi. I think
Yeah.
I know you. Don't worry. We'll come back to that.
All right,
I would
sir.
like us to have a conversation, but let me quickly just round off this point.
Right.
All right. And the media, if you're ready, one or two of our of the businesses that have registered, we're spotlighting some of their production capacities. All right. One of the things that we're doing differently for Africa Revenue Summit, like I've said from the very beginning, is that we're forging intentional connections between people who can do businesses together. I mean, we're intending to have at the end of the day about 200 plus, CEOs to 300 such persons who will be actively collaborating together, where the money within the community will stay within the community, where we would intentionally forge business partnerships and relationships. So we're going to be spotlighting about two of those businesses, if time permits. We're supposed to have two persons speak today, but that will not be, I will not be able to entertain that. All right. So if you are part of AFRES, that's what you can expect. Some of these guys that are doing multiple billion, you have an opportunity to do business with them also. Hurricane Trump is coming to the world in 2025. The Trump effect will be felt very massively in 2025. As Trump began to prepare, Trump has said that I am going to set up external revenue service in America. It has never happened before. But for the first time in the history of any country, there's now going to be not internal revenue service or external revenue service. Trump wants to make money from any country that is trading with America. He says he's going to increase tariffs on all production in China by 60%. China has said they will retaliate, but China does not have the capacity to retaliate that much because China's economy is not doing so well. China's economy has not really recovered from COVID fully. He said he's going to slam, Germany, Canada, Mexico with about 10 to 20% extra tariffs. I don't know what tariff will put on Nigeria for trading with America, because we don't buy so much from America, but America buys so much from us. Number two, Trump wants to double down on fossil fuel production. That's good for Nigeria in one regard, because it means now that many of the oil majors that were not really doing big projects will now start to do big projects. But on the other hand, it probably means that fuel prices will come down. That's not good for the Nigerian economy. So these are some of the things where those of you that are prayer warriors, where you need to pray so that the Trump effect will not be too major. So if it still comes to $70 per barrel, Nigeria is still fine, right, from 75. But at 65, 55, Nigeria will feel the brunt. Number three, there's been a lot of remittances from the diaspora, increasing by over 400% in the last couple of months. Trump says he's going to deport any undocumented immigrants. So tell your brothers and sisters who are there, who may be undocumented, to pray. This is going to deport them. And if there's anything you have known about Trump, if you say that he will do something, he will actually do it. Number four. All right. Oh, this is not supposed to be here. This is supposed to be in the last segment. So another thing that I think you should pay attention to is the tax reforms of the Nigerian government. The tax reforms of the Nigerian government. The tax reforms of the Nigerian government shows you the direction where the Nigerian government is intending to put their efforts and put their money in 2025. If you look at some of the sectors to be supported, one of those sectors is the creative industry. an entire economy was created last December by the IJGB guys. I just go back and they called it the Dirty December economy. If you look around in Lagos, accommodations were almost non-existent. Hotels fully booked. Airbnb reservations fully booked, and then at some point you would have Uber costs going up by as much as 300-400%. All of that happened last year. Government sees the creative industry as a massive opportunity to project Nigeria and to make some money. I mean, how many artists in the world gets to charge $1 million for performing? That's the bill. That's what Burna Boy charges. That's what Davido charges. $1 million. Now that's 1.7 billion naira, ladies and gentlemen. That's crazy business. And these guys, for the first time in a long while, were in Nigeria doing shows back to back. That's an economy, right? Government is focusing on that. Government is focusing on the food and agricultural value chain. So if you're doing anything processing, anything food, 2025, you're going to have a major advantage. Number three is real estate, as has been shown. Natural, indices are in favor of real estate to grow by no less than 25% again in the course of this year. All right. Of course, if you're in innovation and AI and all of those tech stuff, they're also very, very favored. So Trump is going to drive up clean energy, artificial intelligence, crypto. Just today, Trump's coin, they call it Trump coin, is almost 4,000% from $1.5 to $40 between yesterday and today. What's 4,000? What's 4,000%? That's more than 4,000%. It went from $1.5 to about $40 just between yesterday and today. In preparation for Trump's point. Projections for 2025, ladies and gentlemen. Inflation will still be slightly high, but it will come down dramatically. It will come down a lot, not dramatically, a lot. We will not have single digits. We will not have low level digits. You will about 25, 26, 27%. No longer 37%. That's according to the projection of IMF. Government is targeting 3 million barrels per day. However, realistic expectations, by research organizations projects 2.7. GDP growth rate is projected by World Bank to be 3.5%. I disagree with that slightly. Many indices, barring any shock, many indices support 4% growth rate for the GDP in 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, if the economy grows by 4% in 2025, that will be the first time in a decade that the Nigerian economy is going above 3-point-something%. 2025 is a beautiful year, ladies and gentlemen. 2025 holds very fantastic opportunities for your business. But you will only be able to do well in 2025 if you are taking the right lessons, if you are looking around enough, if you are focusing a lot of attention on the positives. I hear many people say very negative things about Nigeria. Don't join them to do that, because it undermines your ability to produce value, even in the economy. Right? As I begin to round off, how should you approach 2025 differently? All right. I'm going to be starting with this thought-provoking, round off. How should you be approaching 2025 differently? Don't forget, what is the goal, ladies and gentlemen? Please type the goal in the comment box. Let me be sure that you remember it. Thank you, Amzat. Type it in the comment box. What's the goal this year, 2025? What's the goal? Minimum. Okay. Yes. What's the goal? minimum 400% growth. Yeah. Abiodun, PDA says 400% growth. Bolaji says 400%. Timaros, 4,000% for me. Wow, I like that. Myself says 400%. That's the minimum. Ladies and gentlemen, minimum growth in 2025 is 400%. So if 400% is the minimum, there are a couple of approach. We'll be talking a lot more about the specific things you need to do. That will be on the other side of payments, ladies and gentlemen. Where I am guiding you to act, to take a real actionable insight and deepen this understanding as it affects your business is on the other side. But here, I'll share a couple of things that you can do. Like I've said, whether you come to the conference or not, my goal is still to help you to achieve 400%. However, you stand a much easier chance if you're at the conference. So how do you approach 2025 differently? Number one, can we say this together, everybody? Can we read it together? When I say 1, 2, 3, go, you then read. 1, 2, 3, go.
Outlook.
Focus on yourself.
Focus on yourself.
No, wait. We'll take it one. If you don't mind, take someone's name on this call and mention them. I'm not having their name. Just say PDA, keep a positive outlook in 2025. Right? If you want to go.
Bunmi Jembola.
Very a positive 2025. Yeah. That's the first thing. Ladies and gentlemen, there are too many negative news flying around. Don't pay attention to them. Don't pay attention to them. It will undermine you. It will undermine you to substantially. And that's why I'm sharing data with you. This is just part of it. I have 2 documents I'm sharing with those who pay. 2 documents. One of them is the document that I got to prepare this. The other one is the one that I read that I've shared. So don't see, this information is real data. All of them pointing upwards. But does it mean that will be the scenario for every businesses in 2025? No. So businesses, is this 2025 that they will now suffer what everybody suffered in 2024? Because as far as your eyes can see, God will never give you more than your eyes can see. So what are you keeping in 2025? Ladies and gentlemen, what are we keeping? A positive. You have to be deliberate. Because let me tell you, I was also selective in the information I share. Some persons have their own agenda. They are sharing negative information. I saw a research by one of the international organizations that was projecting 2.2% growth rate when others were projecting 3.5%. I chose the one I came to come and give to you. I could have gone to choose the one of 2.2% growth rate. So keep a positive. This is the year when your business is growing in leaps and bounds, if you believe it. Because many people are still going to explain to me the challenges in the economy, the problem. What's your own business with that? What's your own business with Tinubu? What's your own business with it? What's your own business? So I'm sharing this information so that it helps you to even get yourself to the right mental state where you can take where you can get actionable insights and take precise data-driven decisions. So keep a positive outlook in 2025, not a negative one. It's very critical because as far as your eyes can see, so will God give to you. Number 2, can we read it together, everybody? 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, go.
Focus
on yourself and what you can do differently.
Going into 2025, do not focus on too much. There are many people that are distracted by distractions. One of the most important goals goals, your most important goals in 2025 will be to keep a focus on your business, a focus processes, a focus on your customers. Don't chase other people's customers in 2025. But that will only happen. One of the exercises in my one-on-one session is that you must understand. Many people have come to those say who do not understand who their customers were, no less than 90%. And that's okay, because if you knew, you won't be coming there. But you must understand who exactly are your customers. What are their psychosocial behaviors? What are their age range? Who are you serving? What do they do? How do they buy? How do they reach the market? What are preferences? You must keep a laser focus on what concerns you this year, not a focus on you. Because there will always be negativity. And if you do not put a focus on yourself, you will see a lot of places that you will see the progress in your own business. So focus on yourself, focus on your business, focus on your customer, focus on your processes, focus on your systems, focus on your people. 6 levels of focus, internal focus. So what can you do differently whenever you are seeing anything? Because see, you cannot control what Trump will do. Can you control what Trump will do in 2025? But as Trump is bringing, his own agenda, and let's say the Nigerian dollar goes down, you come up with your own strategies. All right? Come up with your own strategies, ladies and gentlemen. Don't ever have distractions. Number 3, I want us to read it together, everybody. I want us to read number 3 together. When I say 1, 2, 3, you will read it. 1, 2, 3, ladies and gentlemen.
Be an organization.
There are too many organizations that are very disorganized. In 2025, what will be rewarding and what will be rewarded is order, structure, processes, systems. Anything that you're doing that does not have a pattern to it, a structure to it, you can never scale it. You can never scale it. And what will be in 2025 is what scales, not what is productive, not what is good, but what can scale, what can double, what can multiply. And that's why putting a structure to whatever you're doing, a process to whatever you're doing, a science what you're doing is critical in 2025. Very difficult to do. Read this together. 1, 2, 3, go. Ladies and gentlemen.
People strategy.
In 20, people just think money to build and gain talents, but that is not an idea. Do that productively. Business not at a certain level of evolution, that is bad strategy. You can actually also build your own people, and that can be a cornerstone strategy. That's been our own approach. It has worked for a number of organizations for whom we've been privileged to build, whether it is sales team, whether it is build their leadership categories, whatever approach, that has also been a very good approach. So you want to develop managers, for example, who will be, a very formidable force, middle-level management that can help you to build the younger guys. That can be one of your strategies. So your people strategy has to be on point. I see many organizations in Nigeria who want to get a lot from the employees, who are investing very little. The CEO is even to take a time to do a training. In my organization, we do as little as training on writing skills, how to write. You'll be shocked that in many organizations, Even middle managers cannot write a good email and respond in an emotionally intelligent manner to an email that is sent to the organization. People in 2025, I need you to take it seriously. I need you to go into the battlefront, like an army together, and you as their captain. So gain the trust of your people, invest in them, elevate their mindsets, work on them to become better people. This is that year for you to do that. I'll be sharing in the very first strategy session that is exclusive to those who have paid. I'll be sharing the approach to an effective people strategy in 2025. I'll be sharing that. Right? And lastly, and I want us to read this of our voices. I like us to read this at the top of our voices. 1, 2, 3, go.
Driven growth modeling.
Ladies and gentlemen, your goal in 2025 has to be built 100% around the customer. So, there are many growth models that excludes customers. But whatever growth model you're building in 2025 has to be built around customers, has to be designed in a way that it helps to elevate and optimize customer value. Customer-driven growth model. The only way you are going to do well in 2025 is if you focus on yourself and you focus on your customer. So whatever intent created in 2025 has to be very, very tangential to the customer. You have to be intentional about it. All right. As I begin to round off, ladies and gentlemen, Chai, can you imagine? Okay. As I begin to round off, I'll take a couple of questions. On the other side of payment, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be sharing as a follow-up to this session, how will all this impact your business in 2025? That's 1. 2, what should you do differently? I've talked about that already. Then how can you optimize your workforce, your people strategy, and then how to engage the customer-driven model in delivering 400% growth in 2025. That's the first virtual strategy session, all right? And like I've said, we'll work with you to prepare your growth strategy if you register for the Africa Revenue Summit 2025 with the goal to help you achieve 400%. We'll help you break those strategies into execution plans, as we've started doing for many people. Some of them are on this call. We will integrate you into a community of like minds who want to win. Ladies and gentlemen, it is difficult to win alone. Winning happens typically in a team, not as a loner. So then, of course, at the conference, you're learning for 2 days from people who have a track record of growth. We have intentionally selected everybody that are coming to Africa Revenue Summit. And it's going to be a lot of fun, in spite of the fact that it's going to be a lot of learning. After the conference, we're going to be supporting you to ensure that you actually execute on the plans that you have for 2025. There's a 15% discount for silver, 350,000. You're paying 295,000 right now. Gold, 450,000. You're paying 380 right now. Ruby, 600,000. You're paying 520 right now. And if you pay between now and tomorrow, I have a ticket. I have a branded t-shirt to give you free of charge. 1, 2, we will invite you to the exclusive physical event that is happening in Ikoyi next week. All right, that physical event is happening. One of it is happening at Moving Peak, and one at Radisson Blue. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to pay, this is the details. You can pay now. All right, I'll take 1 or 2 questions, and then in 15 minutes. I'm sorry for those who are supposed to present today. I'm sorry you'll have to wait till next week. I needed to get this done. I want everyone to have this information fully, undiluted. Okay, next week we can come back to talking more about the one-on-one engagements and business model presentations. All right. So I'll take 1 or 2 persons who have questions. I will answer those questions, and then we're off. Akindele Oluwatimiro says 500% fantastic. Mr. Olabi says 400%. Fantastic.
Yeah, please,
if you have any question, you can go ahead. Yeah, please go ahead.
All right, thank you very much. So the session was quite impactful. Now, I was looking forward to something on the food industry because last year was a bit unpredictable. You had manufacturing companies, producing companies, some were at the brink of probably closing up. You had prices of food commodities, some went up, some skyrocketed, and some just came down. So I was looking for that during some of your projections, but I didn't see anything like that. And I was like, okay, let me just bring it up. Is there something I'm to take note of, or is there something like the food industry, looking at the food industry in particular, is there something you feel, is there something that we should take note of? That's just my major question.
So government is going to be spending a lot on the food industry. And that's why I said, look at the tax law. I don't know. I mean, I'm tempted to take that tax law review to the group because it's one of the most important documents that Nigerians don't read. We don't read. So the review of that tax law will be very instrumental to understanding the mind of government in 2025. But ladies and gentlemen, one of the places where government is going to be, government has ordered how many thousands of tractors now. The last time I know that was actually done would be during Obasanjo regime. So government has a lot of focus. Then that's number one. Number two, government is giving a lot of tax incentives to food production. So because one of the things that is driving inflation in Nigeria today, there are two major ones. One is imported inflation, inflation that is imported by virtue of Naira devaluation. The second one is food inflation, which is based on quantity of food, not because there is no money to buy, but because food itself is scarce. And this is based on the fact that there is a lot of insecurity in the areas in Nigeria where food is being produced. So we can go deeper into this. In the next session, I am going to be taking some sectoral focus in next week's section. I think that's what I'll focus on, sectoral focus. I'll take a sectoral focus next week. So you can hopefully look forward to that session. I'll try to make it as meaningful as possible and insightful as possible. But what I can tell you for free is that government understands that many producers of food, whether processed or organic or primary food, are leaving the country because they are not breaking even. And government's approach is to solve security and make food more available. But in all of that, they want to make agriculture more, more lucrative for you. So they are giving you a lot of tax breaks. Take advantage of those tax breaks because in some instances you are getting zero tax, zero. And there are a lot of funds being made available. All of these to ensure that more and more people who have left their farms go back to it. I mean, about 15 years ago, 18 years ago, the reason why food was relatively cheaper in Nigeria was because a lot of Nigerians started producing, especially during Obasanjo regime. In fact, up to about 10 years ago, you had a lot of graduates who were going to the farm, and they had, when you go to places like saying, you have acres and acres, graduates, many of them. But when they were being kidnapped, when they were being killed right on their farms, some people came back from America to come and produce, food in Nigeria. So those are the things that I think will happen. But I'll share more details next week. I hope that helps. One more question, and then we're done for today.
All right, sir. I do have a question, sir.
Please go ahead. Keep it very brief.
Yes,
keep it very brief.
Right, sir.
Sorry.
Right, sir.
While I'm speaking, you can also be showing the production facility of Rich Taste chicken, or that of New Creations, or that of any of the guys who have sent us some of their production facilities and what they're doing. Really, I mean, the focus is on any of our partners, any of our clients this year. We are going to do everything to push you out there in the faces of those who need your services. But please ensure that you are giving them good quality services. All right, please go ahead.
All right, sir. Good evening, sir, and thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to be on your page again, to eat it up again as you usually dish it out. One thing I also expected that you were going to discuss about is the service industry, because I observed, as you have trained me, I observed that the whole of from 2022 to 2024, ending just a couple of weeks ago, there are a lot of our people who jackpot, and they went out there to go and do the services they will not do back in the country.
Correct.
I am a serial entrepreneur also, and I have done a bit of diversification in the service industry, and I see a lot of gap, a lot of work to be done in that industry, and people are actually open to it. No matter how much value we put on it for them, they're ready to pay. And I can see if that is starting from this time in January, there might be a lot more for it. Also, considering the dirty December that happened in Lagos last year, which is, yes, a lot of services is needed here. Like we might need to import people from Togo and the neighboring states. You do a good job around it.
I'll take note of that for next week. I hope you pay us soon to encourage me to keep doing it.
No.
All right. So I'll not take note of that for next week. Any other question, please? All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a fantastic afternoon. Guys, the goal in 2025 is to do 400%. That's the goal. That's the goal. 399% is failure. I'm sorry. You know, if you scored 80% in a normal school, that's excellent. Not this year. Not this year. This year, 399% is failure. It's 400% or not. All right. If you want to take advantage of the 50% discount, please message to any of the numbers you're seeing on the screen. You'll get a response. We'll be here next week. Same time, 4. It is going to be a focus on sector by sector and how to approach 2025. Thank you very much for being here. Almost about 90 of us that participated. I'm excited, elated. Thank you for coming. See you again next week.
We also do environmental branding where we can brand your offices and within the environment. Branding, we also do advertising, we do brand promotions for people. These are the solutions that we provide under our branding services. So when it comes to our digital solutions, we do a website development, we do search engine optimization, we do social media marketing and management, and we also provide software, we do software development. And one of the solutions that we have provided has to do with our digital smart card. With our digital smart card solutions, you don't need that anymore. A tap on people's phone automatically saves their data on your phone. These are the kind of solutions that we provide at New Creation Printing Solution. Now, when it comes to our goals as it relates to customers and the financials in the year 2025, our financial goals in the year 2025 is to increase our revenue by 400%. And by growing our revenue by 400%, we'll be talking about over 9 figures. And that's what we are targeting. And we started work in order for us to achieve that. And when it comes to our customers, we segment our customers into 3 because in order for us to achieve our financial goals is tied to our customers. And one of the things that we've done in this regard is that we categorize our customers into 3. Number 1, the customers because we have both B2B and B2C, business to business and business to customers client. So we categorize them into 2 and we segment them. Those that give us a high figure and a low figure. So some of the clients that patronized us last year, we want to start with them in order to keep those ones and have them in the bag. So we categorize them to the small, big, and large, so that we know those that give us a high figure and those that give us a low figure. However, the second categories of customer that we are also looking at are the people that we have on our books that have not patronized us for some time. We want to recover them. So we have allocated certain percentage of our revenue target to those ones. The last percentage of our revenue target is targeted towards new clients. So we are looking at achieving our target with about 30% of new clients. So if we are able to capture 30%, new clients with the 30% of our revenue, we'll be able to achieve our financial goals. So these are the categorization we did for our customer. Number one, old clients that have not patronized us for a while, the ones that patronized us last year, and new clients. We believe that merging these together, it will help us to achieve our goals. Now, let me tell you something. We've started already. We started reaching out to some of our clients, and we have been getting some positive response because our target this year is taking action. We are acting, and we are acting. Thank you. Average 2025 because number one, I've attended sales review training in the past and it has greatly impacted myself and my team. So attending average 2025, I'm going there to go and learn new strategies on how to achieve our 2025 goals. I'm going there to go and learn from the speakers that are coming on on different ways and better ways to achieve our goals. So I'm going there for value. I'm going there for value, to go and learn. I'm also going there to go and connect and network. I believe at Average 2025, I'm going there with a high expectation to go and learn new things, on how we can increase our revenue. So my goal and my focus is new ways, strategies of achieving our goals. And I believe at the time I'm going to come back from Africa in 2024, I would have been greatly refreshed. Because take note, I see it as a retreat. So a retreat for me, we are going to learn new things. Thank you.
Up with an agenda to grow. What will it look like if you had someone working with you, intentional, with an agenda to grow your business's revenue 400% in 2025? From a standpoint of strategy, from a standpoint of leadership capability, from a standpoint of people management, from a standpoint of execution planning. This is what we have put together in Africa Revenue Summit to help you transform the way you do business. Growth is possible. 400 growth is possible in 2025 because this year the economy of Nigeria is growing by no less than 4%, maybe even 5%. This is an opportunity you don't want to fail that way. You don't want to waste it. That's why I'm inviting you to be a part of Africa Revenue Summit. We have a solid plan. Beyond just a 2 days training agenda, a solid plan to help you grow. To help you grow your business by 400% in the course of this year. I want you to take advantage of this opportunity. It's expiring very soon. Registrations are closing this month. And it will be a phenomenal opportunity for you to transform your business, for you to grow your capacity, for you to deliver on the ambitions that you have for your business in 2025. Come work with us. Come to Africa Revenue Summit. Be a part of a team of other winners, a community of winners like yourself. Be a part of Africa Revenue Summit. Sign up now. Register, make payments, and you will get an opportunity with me to work with my team to deliver a 400% growth in 2025. I'm inviting you to a season of growth. Come to Africa Revenue Summit. Let's partner together to make 2025 your best year ever.
anyone wants to ask any question, you run a retail business, you want to ask any question from her, of course, she's one of the people that will be at Africa Revenue Summit. Next, we're going to be having Mr. Felix Amoso. So someone asked a question, I will respond to it very quickly. The question is, and by the way, I think yourself and Felix Amoso needs to partner. He runs the biggest, one of the biggest chicken processing companies in Oshobo. And in this year, they are aggressively expanding to Abuja. They have over 4 outlets already in the southwest. Bread, more healthier, and maybe even have alternatives that people do not want to eat white.
Interruption.
Okay. So
are you hearing me live now?
Are you where you can speak to us now?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
All right. Okay. So like I was saying, I said that you run one of the biggest chicken processing plants across the country, and by God's grace, I know that your business is doing a couple of billions, and you have big plans for 2025. Tell us about your business first, and tell us how you are approaching 2025 differently, so that you can achieve, like we have all agreed, at least a minimum of 300 to 400% growth in this year, 2025.
Actually, thank you, Mr. Bunmi Jembola. And also, I will say a big thank you to you for learning at your feet for the just few moments we have known each other. Actually, I've greatly benefited from all your seminars, all your teachings. It has been a great class being with you. And also, I greet all my colleagues, all my business colleagues. I pray that 2025 will be a great year for everyone. Pick one. Rich Taste is about is an agribusiness that is about chicken production. To the glory of God, we are consistently doing 4,000 birds per day. In my factory, we slaughter 4,000 birds every day. With 98 staff presently. And apart from the factory, we have 4 sales outlets. And we have presence in almost 3 geopolitical zones presently now. We supply to Aba steadily. We supply to Port Harcourt. And Lagos is a very big market. 50% of our products is being sold in Lagos. We supply the likes of Chicken Republic, Mega Chicken, Crunchies, and much more restaurants and the fast food nationwide. Actually, we at Rich Taste, we have a very good resolution for 2025. We are correcting all our mistakes of 2024 and 2025. If not all our mistakes, if we can get 70% of our mistake corrected, at least is a very good one for us. Last year, we were able to do 5 billion in sales. And we know this year we can do 20. Actually, the population in our side, what I say population is that Nigeria, we are over 200 million. The indication shows that. But also, with government policies of banning poultry product importation to the country, actually, we are on the edge of making that, bringing that figure into realities. 2023, we did just 2 billion. And 2024 doing 5 billion actually is great. We would have done more than that because that Q4 we had our 3 sales outlets. You understand? Only one outlet made sales of 9 million on the eve of Christmas, just retail outlets. That shows the acceptance of Nigerian chicken into the business. Before now, we go to Cotonou, buy foreign chicken. But because we were able to, work on our branding last year, 2024, in terms of giving awareness about a local made product, local made chicken, telling them the health benefits of patronizing our locally made chicken, because actually we don't use any chemical in preserving those birds. And rearing them, we don't use antibiotics. We have organic way of treating our birds even when they are sick. So we tell them the health wise. Those are our selling points. Actually, the motto of my own company, if you go on my website, you get rich taste chicken without chemicals. And people embrace it. And also people are now conscious of the fact that since Nigeria are so reliant on the foreign exchange, FX, dollar, getting a dollar, because we are a consuming nation now. People want to buy local products. Before, if you want to go to Cotonou to buy, since in Nigeria, you have to change Naira to get safer. And that has made the value of Naira to be unhealthy. But with all indications now, I think this year people are more ready to patronize Nigerian chickens. And also government agencies like NAFDAC, also, hello, can everybody hear me? So they are also sensitizing the public